Now let me hear you read your line.
And I can't stand him.
And I can't stand him.
And I can't stand him.
Can't.
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 Hello and welcome to the EuroWhat, episode 251, dropping on January 14th, 2025. We are a pair of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest. I'm Mike McComb, and I'm here with my co-host, Ben Smith. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Mike.
In this episode, we'll be talking about song drops from several countries and the start of Lithuania's Eurovizija.LT. How's it going, Ben?
Good. This has been like a nice little warm-up weekend because like we've got some real scary ones coming up, and like this was a nice round of stretching.
Yes, I agree with that, and that there were a bunch of potential songs that were released into the wild this week. There are already close to 200 songs out in the wild, and we haven't had Italy or Sweden or any of the other like big contest entries. So we're probably going to be at least 400 songs in a month or two.
Exactly. It's lovely to see that everybody took our note from last week and registered for tickets. The numbers are currently at around 500,000 people have signed up for tickets. And they're currently at the stage of things where they're going through and like, let's get rid of like the third to half of these that are probably scalpers or bots.
500,000 was just like, oh, that's such a big number. But even if you take half of that, 250,000, there's only like 60,000 tickets available across the entire contest. So there may be some broken hearts. This is a more processy week that kicked off with Finland.
Yeah, Finland had their artist presentation on January 8th. That was like around lunchtime, my time on Wednesday. So that was just like a lovely chance to just sort of sit and watch the program. It's so heartening to see so many of these processes sort of call out that there are international viewers. Was the program in Finnish? Yes, but there was also a version that had an English commentator on top letting us know what was going on. Jaakko's commentary on top of everything was great. A good blend of informative and humorous, I would say. So like they're doing what they need to do. But they also noted that last year's UMK got around 1 million international viewers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like that's wild.
Wow. There are shows in the US that would love to get
that would kill.
Viewers, so
yeah, but we now know the 7 artists and their respective songs that are going to be part of this year's UMK. And they announced these in the order that they're going to be dropping. We've heard the first 2 of these as of taping. We will have 2 more of these when this episode drops. We will have all of these by next week. But they kick things off with Nea River and Nightmares. Nelly Matula, Hitamin Hauta has also been released, and she's apparently the Finnish Ariana Grande. Did she break up the Finnish SpongeBob SquarePants' marriage?
Wait, what is this?
Never mind. That's Wicked related. We'll discuss it after.
Okay. All right.
after taping. I learned this from curling people. Okay. Anyways, and then yet to come, we have Kosti and Sekaisin, which is Finnish for messed up. He is Porvoo based. There's like some whole dialect stuff that was being mentioned in the commentary. I'm just here for regional Finnish dialects. But he has had 3 hit albums in Finland and 100 million streams. So just like, it's really cool to see the level of talent that UMK is attracting. Vivi will be next with Aina. That is apparently the ballad and the tearjerker this year. One Morning Left and the song Puppy. They are apparently Joost Klein's adopted child.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they are. But like the details they gave sort of help fill in because they've been a band together for like 16 years. They're one of the lesser known artists on the lineup this year, but just the Joost Klein's adopted child, plus the fact that they have toured with Blind Channel, who was Finland's representative a few years ago, and Electric Callboy, who was supposedly in the mix for Germany, but never actually made their selection. I can kind of, like, that helps me synthesize, oh, that's what this is going to sound like. Goldilocks with Made Of. She is Finnish, but Berlin-based. She's the youngest artist in the mix. And then the big news that everybody on Eurovision Blue Sky has been buzzing about is that Erika Vikman is back with the song called Ich komme. So German for I'm coming. She was their 2020 runner-up with Cicciolina. She is a Eurofan favorite, I would say. She was part of the interval act at last year's UMK, performing Ruska with Karia. Just, again, the internet seems abuzz.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because I loved her performance with Karia last year. And, Cicciolina still holds up. 2020 runners-up and also rans seem to be making a comeback this year. So the contest that wasn't may be getting like a remix version this year, which I'm kind of excited about. So
yeah, but no, I'm kind of excited by this full lineup. I thought the last couple years the UMK lineup has been very solid, and just diving into even what doesn't win has been very great. What
I'm excited about in this list is that it's a lot of women. The last time that Finland named a woman was in 2018 with Sarah Aalto. So, I'm glad that somebody brought up that note, and UMK seems to be listening.
5 of the 7 acts are women. In the little promo photo of here's the class of 2025, the majority of the men are in One Morning Left. Is the majority of the men in that photo are one entry.
I haven't listened to any of the songs yet. I'm waiting until all of them drop so I can listen to them in one batch. But from the commentary that I've seen of the first 2 tracks that have dropped so far, people seem pleased with them. And it's making their apples and oranges decisions. But I haven't seen anything that was just oh no, UMK has lost their way. It doesn't sound like that's going to be a problem this year. So
no, well, and again, even last year, I went into the final going, I would be happy with any of these winning, and hopefully that is the same case here. But all signs point to a very good lineup.
Continuing in the song drops lane, we got songs and entry information from Malta, Croatia, and Greece. With Malta's selection process, they released all 24 songs and announced the semifinal split. All of these were released as videos on YouTube, and the songs are trickling onto Spotify as well. I think there's only 3 or 4 that I haven't been able to track down just yet. But looking at the YouTube videos that have the most views, the top 3 at the moment are Kant by Miriana Conte, who finished 9th in last year's contest with the song Venom. Kantera with the song La La Rata Takiki La La Rata Kaboom. They were the runner-up in Musica 2024. And Christy Spiteri with the song Heaven Sent. And she was a finalist on the show Brillanti in 2022. Ben, have you listened to any of Malta's entries yet? Specifically, that first one?
Through being a person on the internet, I am sort of aware of what's going on with that one. But much like reading the plot summary to a horror movie on Wikipedia, I'm aware, but I'm going to let myself go in and be surprised by the additional choices leading up to that.
Okay, that is fair. And honestly, I would love it if you were able to stay pure until the actual semifinal, just because I would love your first impression when it matters most. So
I will do my best to avoid this so that we don't have a CD Zani situation where I know we're just because that one we had that one for a month and a half.
I have gone through the Malta songs, and they have options this year. I'm actually really kind of impressed with this field. There's actually some folklore and rock and roll in a couple of entries in this economy, if you can believe that. I think one of the most interesting aspects of this lineup is there's a lot of Maltese in the lyrics. Yeah, which is somewhat unusual. They've only sent Maltese entries twice. Their first entry in 1971 and their second entry in 1972. They finished last both times. Mm-hmm. I will say that the videos that they have posted, I don't think are really serving the acts all that well because they're all on the same set, which is fine, but they're just kind of dancing and lip syncing, and not everybody's great at lip syncing. And
that's not everybody's skill set.
Yeah. And it's just it's maybe not the best showcase for each of these songs, but at least it's something. So.
Mm-hmm.
Can't.
And then, let's see, Croatia also dropped their songs for Dora. Yeah, Dora's been interesting so far. There have been 2 withdrawals or disqualifications that have happened. So 2 alternates have moved in. As you may recall, last year, Baby Lasagna was the first alternate. And I think things turned out well for him. So we may have that situation again in Croatia. But looking at the top 3 for those videos, Magazine, which is a group that formed in 1979. They represented Croatia at Eurovision in 1995, and they finished 6th. So, yeah, name recognition. It's really no surprise that they would be at the top of the field. Marko Škugar, who was part of Klapa Submora in 2013. He has the second most viewed video. And then the third group is Oženj, which is a band that formed in 2015. And on one website, saw them described as the Croatian Flogging Molly or Dropkick Murphys. Ben, as our resident Bostonian, do you have thoughts on that?
As a person who lives in the greater Boston metropolitan area, that sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Croatian field, I feel like, again, they have a lot to choose from. And when I was going through the video stats, like some of my favorites, it's like, oh, why doesn't this have as many views as I would like? But Croatia may be spoiled for choice again, which is great. And these videos, they're primarily lyric videos, but they're like more like music video. Like you see the artists and stuff, and they're more individualized than the Maltese videos. Like they're not all on the same set or anything like that. So that should be a fun lineup. And those songs, most of them are available on Spotify. For the late additions to the lineup, they have not appeared yet, but hopefully in the next week or two, we'll be able to get those on there. And then Greece dropped their 12 entries for their national final process. The top 3 for that are Vale by Evangelia, Claudia with her song Asteromata, and Sirens by Barbs. So Barbs, this is her debut track. So good first impression, I'm gathering. Claudia, she finished 4th on The Voice of Greece back in 2018. And she was coached by Helena Paparizou. So good pedigree there. And then Evangelia probably has the most name recognition out of this set. I don't know. Konstantinos Christoforou, who's also in the lineup, he's represented Cyprus a few times, so he may also be up there in the name recognition piece. But Evangelia, that was a name that I instantly recognized.
Has been rumored for a couple years on both the Greece and the Cypriot side, I think.
Yeah, I feel like every year you are campaigning for her just so that you could get...
Just so that we can finally name an episode Neon Genesis Evangelia.
Exactly, yes. So the fact that very niche joke has been at the front of mind for a few years now, it's just like, oh, okay. It's no wonder that she's at the top of the views list. Greece's final is happening at the end of January, so that one is coming up. A lot of songs dropping this week.
Also, starting this week, Eurovizija.LT, Lithuania's selection process, which I'm always excited about this one. I like seeing what they've done with the studio, what the stage looks like this year. It's a nice little warm-up. It's a nice time.
Going back to what you were saying about Finland and being so welcoming to international viewers, their hosts also took a moment during their intro and be like, "Hey, how's it going, everybody?" It's just like, oh, I feel like you're talking directly to me. So thank you, Lithuania. So.
It's like, hello, yes, I am here. This was an interesting first heat. To me, nothing immediately jumped out, but I think I agree with what made it through to the final.
I think so, too. Well, yeah. I mean, one of my 2 preferences got through. So Juste Baradulinieta's Tired. She was second with the jury and with the televote. It's weird with the first heat of Lithuania, and this is something that I've noticed every year, going all the way back to the Pabanda Mishnaujo days, where there's just not a lot of televote participation.
No, I was looking at the numbers today, and the top vote getter on the televote side, which was Anya's Running Out of Time, that won the jury in the televote, but on the televote side, it got 1,058 votes.
Right. So I'm wondering if they have realized that and how they structure the heats and be like, well, we don't want all of the top stuff at the beginning because people are just going to miss it. I'm guessing it's a lot of, oh, right, that show's back on, or, oh, I'll wait until it's later on in the process. Although I think Sylvester Belt was in the first
Sylvester Belt was week 1.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting scheduling conundrum. And yeah, I would love to know more about the thought process of how they put these heats together.
Agreed. Yeah. Anya won season 9 of Voice of Lithuania. He is Nigerian. He grew up in Ukraine. He fled to Lithuania due to the war in Ukraine. So like there's a lot of good backstory there, but also the song felt very voice winner to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like there was really nothing particularly Lithuanian about it.
Yeah, like I think that's what prevented me from liking it as much. The things that have won for Lithuania the last few years have felt very, I don't know, just they've had something, yeah. But like the contest is young. We've said this the last few years, but like I do kind of miss how Pabando Mishnauyo would give like your third and your fourth place things another chance to sort of look at their performance, reevaluate some things. Because what placed third, Montas Ben's Svoniones, I thought was a really interesting song that could have used a little bit like a zhuzh in the staging.
Yeah, or just a complete rethink of the staging. Like I found that the guitar was just a complete distraction. Like it seemed like it was like, okay, he needs something to keep his hands busy, but like his strumming did not match up with the music at all. And it was just so, I don't know, scattered. And it's like, oh, I would really like, I think this song has some bones, but the staging concept just did not work. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no second chance on this. The one that I really liked that the jury apparently did not was Ruta Budrejskita's entry that had drama that was reminiscent of what Grito was bringing to last year's contest, but there was a dance beat to it too. And, yeah. And then the sort of broken mirrors motif. Mirrors kept coming up a lot this week for some reason. I don't know if maybe they just kind of grouped them all together, but yeah. And then like we got to see what would happen if Georgia O'Keeffe had the Green Lantern and just started throwing sand to turn them into skulls and stuff. It's like, all right, there's some stuff here, but I think that would have been another one that would have really benefited from like a second go round. Just be like, oh, well, that sort of worked. Let's try this and see if it still works. But yeah, that jury was very meh on that one. But I believe that was third in the televote. So yeah, disappointing, but not terribly surprising. Like the two that went through, yeah, I think they are two correct entries to go through to the final.
One thing I noticed with this, and it could just be, again, this particular batch of songs, but like things felt a little repetitive lyrically at times. Awa's song was just sort of structurally chicky chicky, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it had like half of a hook, not like a full thing to really sink your teeth into. It was kind of housewivesy, and like I could see like one of the Real Housewives actually passing on this track, being like, no, give me something more. And then the song just stops. Like it was a very weird 2.5 minutes.
But no, Gunilla Persson would ask for a rewrite.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed when I was going back to listen to a few of these last night is just like I got struck by one of the YouTube comments. I forget sometimes how direct people can be. One of the comments, you told me not to tell you which song this was.
Okay.
So, it is great that LRT gives an opportunity to so many artists to gain some experience. This woman needs a lot of practice. Good luck in future. Just, that is a terrible compliment sandwich. I mean, that is a turd between two pieces of Wonder Bread.
Oh man, well, depending on which one they were talking about, they may not be wrong. What was that? Ava's performance?
No.
Oh,
that was the first song of the night. That was "Litz, You're Not Alone," which I liked, which I thought was a little rough vocally at the beginning, but like she got there.
Okay, yeah, that one. Well, first of all, like that one was not available on Spotify ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm mad about that because I want to listen to it again.
Yeah, like I'm sure it will be available soon, but I'm thinking Lit, the band from the late 90s with the song My Own Worst Enemy. And it's like, I'm pretty sure it's not them, but yeah, so there was just that kind of like cognitive dissonance that was completely on me. It's kind of your basic up-tempo empowerment track, but what was going on with those video screens? Like I was actually getting motion sickness towards the end of it. It's like there was way too much going on.
That was a very aggressive pattern in the background. On the Lit side of it, yeah, like I went looking for it on Spotify, like, what does the studio version of this sound like? Because like it's a little generic, but strongly performed by the end. Even on the Chiron, it was like Lit and then parentheses name, and I tried Googling the name. Maybe it's under this on Spotify, which bad branding, but you know, making it work.
It was kind of mid, but it was a good opener to the show. It'd be like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's showing off the stage, like you were saying that you wanted to see what the stage was going to look like. So it succeeded in that. I think this is going to be another good season. Like, Lithuania already has a couple of choices that have made it to the final. So that is good news.
Also, I was delighted to see Gabrielius Vagelis show up as the interval act. Although I was like, has he outgrown like participating in this? Because I have enjoyed his songs for the program.
Yeah, and this was another one of those cases where it's like, oh, the interval act song is the best song of the night. Why was this not
I was like, why
entered?
can't you send Gabrielius to the final?
Yeah.
Like he needs someone to tell him that he needs to not perform the song dressed as Keith Raniere from The Vow. Even back to his first entry for Babano Mishnauyo, of just like a good song paired with a very confusing fashion choice.
Yeah, although like the long hair is really working for him. I want to know what conditioner he's using because just flowing locks. And like midway through the performance, it's like, I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't try to do the Rachel. Like, I really think his hair, hair could handle
he could pull it off.
Yeah. And I think he'd make it look good. I think it could make a comeback.
Just Gabrielius, consider chunky highlights.
Yes.
but also just like, why are you pairing that with, again, just sort of like corporate trainer realness?
And the dancing of, like he delivers a very specific package, but I think it just works for both you and I. So
just like I am always delighted by his work, and it was a very good reminder to go check on Spotify, and he has a new album.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
So a really good opening act to the TV part of Eurovision selection season. Looking ahead to this coming week, by the time you hear this, Moldova will have announced who their auditioners will be for next Saturday's auditions. So very excited to see who is on that list. And if people have multiple entries, I feel like there are going to be some usual suspects in the mix. So
and just a reminder to contestants, budget a little additional travel time. If you are not at the studio, you will be disqualified.
Yep.
This has happened before.
Yep. Poland will be announcing their artists on January 14th, so the same day that this episode drops. Norway will be announcing the acts that will be in the final-only version of Melodi Grand Prix. That will be happening on Thursday. On Friday, Iceland's Song Vikepnin will announce their acts and their songs. Very much looking forward to that. And then joining Lithuania on Saturday TV schedule will be Belgium. Their Eurosong process will highlight the first 4 entries of their 8-contestant field. The following week will be the second half, and then that's when the songs will be available for streaming. And the big announcement that'll be happening on Monday, January 20th, will be who is hosting Eurovision this year. I've not really heard any rumors on who might be selected. Actually, no, I take that back. The one rumor I heard was Roger Federer, and be like, that seems like an odd choice. Not impossible, but...
In fairness, like the last couple years, we've had like very obvious broadcastery types to point to. Because like if the UK is hosting, Graham Norton's right there. We're back in Sweden. What's Petra doing?
Right. But then you have like Mika showing up in Italy, kind of out of nowhere.
It feels like it's time for like a wild card.
Roger Federer and Celine Dion. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, just like who is secretly of Swiss heritage?
Yes.
Who's going to make that their personality for the next few months?
I think that's going to do it for this episode of the EuroWhat. Thanks for listening. The EuroWhat podcast is hosted by Mike McComb, that's me, and Ben Smith.
That's me. You can find our full archive of episodes on our website at EuroWhat.com. If you'd like even more episodes, join our Patreon. You can get to Patreon through our website or by going to patreon.com/EuroWhat.
Next time on the EuroWhat, we'll have more potential artists, more potential songs, and see what Moldova and Belgium have up their sleeves.